Today we're going to be taking a look at 5 more upcoming FNAF fan games. So you guys seem to love the last video like this, actually getting me to over 1 million views last time, which is amazing, thank you. So I figured I should show you guys some more upcoming fan games. Real quick before we get started though, I wanted to say that I wanted to make this video like ages ago, but I had other projects I was working on, and there was this whole issue in the fan game community with some yikes situations and creators. It was a whole mess. I wasn't totally sure what was and wasn't okay to promote, and I'm still not 100% sure. So please forgive me and let me know in the comments if I promote anyone or anything that I shouldn't have. Anyway, moving on to the video. At number 5, we have Rat Race. Rat Race is a tactical multiplayer style game that's the first of its kind that I've ever seen, and it'll be available on GameJolt. You'll be playing on a team of 4 controlling 4 animatronics throughout 4 offices with over 20 rooms. You'll need to manage both offense and defense. You can upgrade your character through skill trees, hack your opponent's animatronics, and more. As for the story, my favorite part of any FNAF game, fan game or otherwise, is that you've been chosen by Rodney Rat to be a contestant in what appears to be a game show. Your job is to control the robots provided to you, keep the robot maniacs away, and survive. I'm not typically a big fan of multiplayer games like this, as I don't play too many competitive games, but the designs of the animatronics and their overall gameplay looks amazing. It might actually make me break my solo game streak. Anyway, I can't wait to see where this game goes and how deep the story actually is, because it looks pretty interesting. Next up, we have Popgoes Evergreen and Popgoes 2 Reprinted. I know these are technically 2 games made by 2 separate people, one of them being the official creator of Popgoes, of course, but I wanted to mention both here because they both seem pretty cool. So Popgoes 2 is an unofficial sequel to the original Popgoes game after the official sequel, Popgoes The Dead Forest, was cancelled. I actually really don't know anything about Popgoes lore yet, I guess, but from what I can tell, the new Popgoes Evergreen follows a new lore, and the original is now non-canon, I guess? So Reprinted is going to follow the original lore, basically. Anyway, moving on to Evergreen. Popgoes Evergreen is a part of the FNAF Fanverse initiative, and follows this new reboot lore for Popgoes. There's also a prologue game called Popgoes Arcade, which takes place in the reboot timeline, I guess. Also, by the way, this number 4 spot now technically is a 3 for 1, so drop a like for that. But looking at the GameJolt page, we can see that the gameplay will include classic Popgoes gameplay, but drastically overhauled, as well as minigames and overall large improvements. Popgoes is set within its own version of the official FNAF universe, but only follows the story up until FNAF 3. I actually really love this because FNAF 3 was when I really got into FNAF and started to fully understand the lore. And although I love the current FNAF lore with all its flaws, I'm extremely excited to see the original timeline revisited, even if it doesn't play a big role in the Popgoes story. In Evergreen, 1 year has passed since the end of FNAF 3, an inventor has decided to create their own animatronic restaurant called Popgoes Pizzeria. The animatronics were programmed to be good, but someone has changed their programming for something else. I love this concept, which I wasn't really expecting because I usually don't like when fan games try to use the official timeline for their own story, but it looks like this will be extremely well done, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And moving on to number 3, we have Five Nights at Candy's 4. I actually played all 3 of the Five Nights at Candy's games, and although I might not have finished all of them, I love the story and the gameplay. It's one of the classic fan games, and it's now also part of the Fanverse initiative. To my knowledge, we haven't actually seen any official gameplay footage or really any in-game footage, only a few teasers from the GameJolt page and a funny April Fool's trailer. However, it seems like it'll be pretty different from the original gameplay of the older games. The GameJolt page says it'll be a point-and-click free-roam game inspired by Sister Location, which makes perfect sense judging by the scenery and the teaser images. And I love this because I think Sister Location was one of the best FNAF games, and it was a really nice step for FNAF gameplay. I think the only other point-and-click style FNAF game I've played is the post-night sections from Treasure Island and Oblitus Casa, and while I don't super love point-and-click games, I think it suits the FNAF game style pretty well, and I can't wait to finally get some gameplay footage. What we do know though is the graphics should be pretty great, and while it's not full 3D, the game is being made with more modern tech, unlike the previous games. So it should look a little closer to the remastered version of Five Nights at Candy's. And again, the story is something I'm extremely interested in because I love the other Five Nights at Candy's games and their lore. The story followed Mary Schmidt and her story with candies. It was simple enough to follow, unlike official FNAF lore, but it was intriguing and so interesting, especially seeing the story actually play out in the pixel minigames, something FNAF does, but with much less straightforward scenes. This game, however, isn't set to follow Mary, and according to the GameJolt page, her story is fully finished moving forward. Again, I love this. She had her trilogy, and it was great to watch unfold, but I think there are a lot of benefits to moving forward in stories and knowing when a character's story is finished. So this new story is going to focus on the hidden background company Robotics Corp. That's a great name, by the way. And I love stories that follow corrupt mega corporations corporations and their like sketchy dealings and whatnot. Mix that in with some supernatural or just strange happenings in general, and I am extremely interested in it. All right, and almost at the end, we have Jolly 4. So the Jolly series is another well-known FNAF fan game series, and much like Popgoes, I know next to nothing about it. In my last upcoming FNAF fan game video, though, I had quite a few comments asking why this wasn't on the list, so I knew I had to cover it this time. Like Five Nights at Candy's 4, it looks like it'll take place in some kind of technical facility, sister location style, and you'll be up against rebranded versions of the animatronics from previous games. Like I said before, I love the style of story, and I imagine the gameplay will be similar to past games. The graphics in the announcement trailer and the teaser images look amazing, and I'm assuming this game also uses some official FNAF lore because we see Springtrap, and maybe that's well known already, but again, I've never played or even seen gameplay for the previous games, so I'll need to go back and do a lot of research if you guys want me to cover this game in the future. And I'd love to learn more about the Jolly series, so if you'd be interested, go off in the comments or my Discord, link in the description, letting me know what's up with the lore. Okay, before we get to the last game, I briefly want to mention LEGO FNAF 2 would have been on this list if the whole LEGO FNAF series didn't get fully shut down. This means that this person was right, and not gonna lie, that like kind of peeves me. No offense, commenter person, I just wasn't a fan of your pessimism. It got shut down not because it used the good name of LEGO or FNAF. It got shut down because with these fan games, you're not really supposed to make any money. So, you know, the devs weren't making any money, but because you needed to own the official FNAF games to play the LEGO versions, they were technically making Scott Cawthon money because they required you to buy FNAF if you didn't already own it. And this super sucks because I think the idea of a LEGO FNAF game is amazing. Hopefully one day it can be revived, but I don't know if the original devs have any plans for that. Anyway, last but not least, the fan game I'm personally most excited for, Fazbear Tycoon. So I covered this game in this video, and I love the concept. So far, all we have is the Festa archive, which again, I covered. But I think the best way to describe this game is it's like a mix of FNAF with something like SCP. It uses some official FNAF lore, like the general lore and animatronics, but the story revolves around this like agency sort of that researches and catches rogue animatronics. For example, and if I'm not mistaken, Lefty is made by them to catch Marionette. And I'll show like the blueprints here, and I think that's so cool. In the original, I think Henry made Lefty, but introducing this like agency, it makes perfect sense that they would try to make their own thing to catch things. It's just, I love the idea. There's also like a team researching a giant rogue animatronic that's like roaming around. There are reports of like this skin wraith who's killing people, and there's so much more. It's crazy. And this just fuels my love for that type of mysterious corporation type story again, working in secret to like research things. Similar to my love for like sketchy mega corporation stories. It's such a cool concept because it makes perfect sense that there would be a group researching the phenomenon surrounding Freddy's. In official FNAF, we see little to no outside interaction. Everything is pretty self-contained, and it's almost like the tragedies that happen have been totally forgotten by like civilians, I guess, for lack of a better word. I'm sure there is a better word for that. I don't know what it is. And we don't have any gameplay yet, but just looking at the archive and even just the Game Jolt page, you can tell that a lot of love has gone into this, and I suspect the gameplay will reflect that. Also, this is kind of a small detail in the grand scheme of things, but the fur textures on the animatronics look so good. Like, it's really nice to see when there's a lot of detail put into the smallest of things like this. And I think realistically, like, older animatronics might be a little fuzzier rather than having such short fur. And you know what? Maybe in the OG games, they're meant to be like that. We don't really see much texture in these older models. But anyway, the game looks fantastic. And although I think the development got delayed, much like I think all of these fan games almost, I'm so hyped for this game to release, or at least to get some more teasers, maybe some gameplay. I swear the Game Jolt page had gameplay on it, but looking back, it's just gone. So I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking of a different game. Like I said before though, I covered this whole thing in that previous video. I'll link it down below or up in a card somewhere up there if you want to see more. There's some very interesting things to see and read about the archive, but that would take way too long to cover again, so I'm just gonna end it here. But before we go, if you want to buy a shirt from the Nostalgia Corporation, it's my clothing company based around the idea of nostalgia. And if that's your thing, first link in the description below, along with my Discord and all my other social media whatnots. Also, I just got back from a huge trip. I got sick on that trip, so we had to extend our stay, so that's why I haven't uploaded in a good while. But I want to get back to making these videos, more videos like this, and the past 2 videos I've made, also linked in the description and in a card somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you all for watching. By the way, we hit 14K. This is the longest outro ever. Thank you so much for 14K. See you all in the next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And goodbye.